Once a year, the people of Shirone, Japan, leave their quiet lives behind them and take part in an activity about which they are absolutely passionate. They become so enthusiastic about a competition that local residents have given it a name. They call it takokichi, kite crazy.
Kite crazy refers to people who really love kites, people who think more about kites than getting their 3 meals a day. Even when they go to bed, they can't fall asleep because they see kites flying over their beds.
Normally, Shirone is a quiet and peaceful place, like many other towns that are found in northern Japan. Farmers work hard through the spring to plant their rice, but when the work is done, they're ready to have some fun at a 5-day festival that celebrates the open sky, the Great Shirone Kite Fight. The Great Kite Fight began 250 years ago. According to legend, a giant kite was given to a village leader by the local lord. The kite was so huge that it damaged houses and crops when it came crashing down. Soon after, villagers who were angry or upset started using kites to fight one another. Eventually, these battles evolved into a festival where people rid themselves of some stress every spring. Kite madness comes to Shirone every June and affects people of all ages. Residents, both old and young, join the fun, and just about anybody who can cling to a piece of kite rope gets involved. The town is transformed into a giant kite factory as rival teams prepare for battle. Playgrounds, parking lots, driveways, and even schools become work areas. Kazuo Tamura is an internationally known kite-flying team leader.
This event is very important to me. It's not just a question of having a good time. Somehow, underneath a sky that's full of kites, everyone seems equal, and no one flies a kite in times of war. So the festival is like a sign that we're at peace.
Shirone Festival kites are made by hand and put together carefully and precisely. Teams spend hours designing, constructing, and painting their creations. Each kite has a distinct colorful design to capture the special look that symbolizes a particular team. Finally, opening day arrives. 1,500 kites are designed, decorated, and ready to be flown. The biggest kites are called odako. They're difficult to get into the air, but 13 different teams have come to try their best. Other teams prefer the smaller kites, called rokako, which are much easier to fly. More like fighter jets, while the odako are like heavy bombers. For centuries, the Battle of the Kites has taken place along Shirone's central river, the Nakanokuchi. The competing teams stand on opposite sides of the river. The goal is for one team to capture another team's kite and pull it from the sky. Once one team has captured another team's kite, it's time for the real competition to begin. Team members desperately cling to their kite ropes, doing everything they can to keep their grip. Unfortunately, in the tug-of-war, both of the kites are twisted, pulled, and basically destroyed. Finally, when one team's rope breaks, a winner is declared. Extra points are given to the winning side for every inch of rope it captures from the losing team. All along the river, teams get involved in clashes that quickly lead to open war. The battles often spread to the town, and almost everyone gets involved. By the end of day one, thousands of the smaller kites have been destroyed, but not everyone has been able to enjoy the competition. The large odako kites are still not flying. The teams can't even get the huge odakos into the air. Without a stable northern wind, the larger kites are helpless. The Odako teams must wait for a change in the weather and hope that they're ready when the north wind finally arrives. While they wait, the teams step back from the excitement of the riverside to ensure that their ropes are strung correctly. These ropes are made by hand, which makes them extremely strong so they can serve two purposes: controlling the kite and standing up to the tugs of war. Teamwork constitutes another important part of the kite competition.
The most important thing is teamwork. Everyone runs around clinging to the same rope, so they have to work together. This is very important. Without teamwork, these kites won't fly. They'll fall right to the ground.
On the third day of this 5-day festival, there's still no northern wind, and everyone's very disappointed. But when evening falls, the kite fighters still manage to have a good time. Everyone welcomes the chance to relax, have some fun, and go a little crazy. On the fifth and final day of the competition, the wind continues to deliver disappointment, but at the last minute something wonderful happens. With just 1 hour remaining, a northern wind comes down along the river. At last, the oversized kites are released from their earthly imprisonment. Now finally, Tamura's team will have its only chance to compete before the festival ends. The young men on Tamura's team have managed to capture the competing team's kite. Now the tug of war begins. It's a situation that requires both skill and passion. Luckily, Tamura's team has plenty of both.
People call me a kite maniac. I am a kite enthusiast. That's just me. They call me a kite maniac. But I don't think I'm all that crazy.
The two teams are nearly exhausted, but the battle continues. Neither will stop until the war is won, but the ropes remain firmly tied together across the river. One set of kite ropes finally breaks, and it belongs to the rival team. It looks like Tamura's team is the winner. So, are the people of Shirone really kite crazy? Most of the residents become very excited at this time of year. But if it's some type of craziness, it's not a dangerous one. In a good year, every kite is destroyed, but the people of Shirone never seem to feel sorry. They know that next spring the kites will live again. For now, there are no signs that the kite craziness will disappear anytime soon. In fact, among everyone who appears affected by it, no one seems to want to take the cure.